Hello, Lego over here, and we're back today on F1 2020. And as you can see, we're here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium to do another track guide. As always, we're doing one lap at full speed, one lap in detail, and then I'll show you the setup. That was the lap then. As you can see, it's a 1 minute 41.6. I do think there was still a bit more time in that, as I did improve shortly after filming this, but we're going to go more in detail now. Already starting at the final chicane before we even start the lap, and you can see that we're just preparing for the lap. It's very important to do that in a qualifying or time trial lap. So you go very wide at the final corner to carry as much speed onto this straight. Heading into turn 1, the braking point is nice and easy to spot. It's that white line there. Brake right on that white line and trail brake into the apex. There's a bit of undulation mid-corner, and then on exit I like to stay off the curb. Some people like to use it, but I prefer not to. For Eau Rouge and Radion now up the hill, start on the right side of the track, and you can see even though it's easy flat, we are still maximizing the time we can gain by using as much track as possible on both apexes, because you can still gain a couple hundredths there as we now head down the very long Camel Straight and into Lacombe. The braking point is around 70 meters there, and we're using the 50-meter board as reference, using all of the inside curb on both parts of this high-speed chicane to set yourself up for this tricky right-hander. Just a slight lift before you go back full throttle, use all of the exit curb, and now into this very difficult corner. The braking point is just after that curb on the left starts, or just after that whiteboard goes out of your view. Braking while turning the entire time, so it's very easy to lock up, which was one of the main things that makes it so difficult. You can see we went wide on that occasion, which was not ideal. And into this corner, just a slight moment on the brakes, using all of the exit curb there. Now, as we head about to enter Pouan, just a slight lift as we turn in, and then get back full throttle, stay on the left side of the track before entering the S section. The braking point is just after that orange barrier on the right goes out of view. You can see we went a bit wide on the first part. Ideally you want to use more curb, as well as here you can definitely use more curb there. So we didn't get it that great on that occasion, but still decent. Into this corner, brake just after that curb on the left starts there. You can see we go a bit wide again, so overall not ideal, which is why I said I did think there was a bit more time in it, and I did end up gaining some more time on this lap. As we now head out of that sequence of corners and now into this sequence of two left-hand kinks. Just stay all four wheels on the road don't use the curbs, don't throw off too much speed. And into the final chicane. The braking point is that 100-meter board. You can see we're using the outside curb to open up the corner, then using the red and white curbs on both parts of the chicane. Ideally, you want to use a slight amount of brake pressure on the second part of the chicane before activating the DRS to finish off your lap. For the setup now, we're going to go in detail with the setup that I used to set that hot lap that I just showed you. I did end up discovering a different setup that I definitely liked more. This setup is definitely on the safer side, but a more aggressive setup that was probably faster, it was definitely faster for me at least, will be in the description if you want to try that out. I definitely recommend that setup. But starting off with the Aero, we're running 3-5 wings. We're using that low downforce so we can be very quick in a straight line. Obviously, that will cost us in Sector 2, but that is just a sacrifice that you have to make around Belgium. For the transmission, using 50% on throttle as usual, but something that I don't normally do on my setups is that I'm using a bit of a higher off-throttle differential. This will definitely mean that you get less rotation, but you do get more stability by doing this if that's what you're looking for. For the suspension geometry, running -2.5 on the front for camber and -2 on the rear, and then minimum toe as usual. For the suspension, we're using 2.6 for the suspension, 6.10 for the anti-roll bars, and then 3.4 for the ride height. For the brake pressure, we're using 100% brake pressure and 50% brake bias because we need to brake as late as possible without locking up for literally every track, which is why you run that at every single track. And finally, for the tire pressures, using minimum as always, so that traction is nice and easy with stability, as well as tire temperatures being nice and optimal during qualifying and the race. So guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as I post F1 content 3 times per week, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.